Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode. Today, I want to showcase a little bit about my setup here in VR. Oculus Rift, Oculus Home, why I prefer it, a bunch about my Skyrim VR mod setup, that kind of thing. So let's dive in. You might notice here I'm sitting on my couch in front of my little console here. There we are. Currently hanging out watching some Overwatch League here. I'm casting one of my monitors directly to my screen here without sound for your convenience, but otherwise I like to hang out here, relax, watch some stuff. When I'm not playing games, I like to unwind with my headset on, just chill, you know. It's a pretty good time. Oculus allows you to kind of have this customized home with lots of accessories. My home, let's take a look here real quick. You look around. Not a whole lot to it. I like to shoot some basketball over there. I keep it pretty minimalist. I'm a little too lazy to decorate it fully, make it look really awesome, but this minimalist setup works for me. I can relax, see this space age city out the window and just kind of relax, you know? Another cool thing about Oculus is, apart from screen mirroring and whatnot, I can open up a virtual desktop here with my dash. Now my dash loaded a little low here, but it's because I'm sitting on my desk right now. Usually I'd be standing, this would be waist height, and it wouldn't be too bad. But let's open up monitor 2 here for a second. There we go. Let's stop this video here. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I can now use my desktop in all sorts of ways. I have a keyboard here that I can tap around in. It's useful if I'm trying to use Discord on my other monitor. I can respond with my fingers here, as awkward as that might seem. It works pretty well. But you probably came here to see my mod setup. So let's take a look. This is my, that's my Nexus profile, if you didn't know. But yeah, I use the Skyrim Nexus for all my mods. You can find Skyrim VR mods on there. The majority of them are Skyrim Special Edition mods, to be honest, because Skyrim VR is Special Edition, more or less. So almost all of the mods will work with it. I have 72 active mods right now. I have a rather minimalist setup. I've run the game before, both the regular 2011 Skyrim, as well as the special edition. I've ran them with like 300 plugins. I've done some crazy stuff. But right now, I want to go over my minimalist VR setup for the sake of performance and recording. That works well with me. I have 16 gigs of RAM, a 6th generation Intel i5, which is the weak part of my system. This is the reason why I keep some of my mods minimum, as well as my GTX 1070 graphics card with 8 gigs of video memory, which is more than enough for VR most of the time. The one component in my computer that I probably won't upgrade for a little while, but my i5 is definitely the weakest point. But anyway, let's take a look at what I have here. These are all the base mods you'll find. You'll notice Skyrim VR is essentially just an ESM file. So, I mean, all you hackers out there who might want to maybe copy this and put this into the regular Skyrim Special Edition, kind of like what the Fallout 4 community did for VR Fallout 4, that's probably a thing. I bought mine legit. I suggest you do the same as well. Always support the developers. But anyway, I have Lanterns of Skyrim, the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. Now, this is a different version. This is an older version. You might want to poke around for the specific version. Certain users on Reddit can help you find the one that works the best with Special Edition. You can find it elsewhere. There's a few places. I kept mine backed up, and it's on a separate drive at this point. I don't know of any further update to Special Edition patch that works with VR, but this unofficial patch is basically essential for any playthrough of Skyrim, VR or flat. It just fixes so many bugs. It's well worth it. I have Campfire, which allows me to camp and make fires, which is essential to keep me alive out in the frozen forest, because I also have Frostfall installed somewhere around here. I think this is an audio or light. I don't know what this is at all. Can I see this mod list? Book covers. Yeah, weird names. Anyway, I have immersive sounds, which is very helpful when you're in VR. You want to be able to hear things a little bit better. There's a lot more sounds added to the game, just stuff that you'll hear, crowd noises. What do we have? We have like dogs and cats barking in the distance. Well, maybe not the cats, but you know what I mean. Lots of stuff. I definitely recommend this one. Relighting Skyrim, I find that was useful just to kind of make the lighting more immersive. Lights come out of proper places instead of like ambient lighting, just kind of floating there. Definitely helps with things like a little more realistic. iNeed is my immersion mod of choice for needs. So, sleeping, eating, drinking, that kind of thing. I definitely feel like when I'm playing Skyrim, especially when I'm role playing a character, I want to be able to eat, sleep, that kind of stuff. I need the game to push me in that direction. Otherwise, I'm not going to use the beds. I'm not going to use the food and the water available. I'm just the drinks at all. I'm not going to use any of it. I'm just going to quest, and it's going to pull you out of the immersion a little bit. So definitely useful there. The Cathedral concept, lightweight grass overhaul. Definitely recommend this. You'll find this on the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus. This mod is going to be very, very useful. If you're looking to have a really great looking grass mod with very little performance hit. My computer cannot handle any grass mod in VR. This works wonderfully, and the grass looks full, lush. The plains of Whiterun and a few other places look far better. Cutting room floor. This is a must-have for me, at least. It adds some cut content that was meant to be in the game and kind of makes things a little more fleshed out. I like it. There's a few things that are kind of completed. It's nice. Book covers. I like this one because I'm a bit of a completionist when I'm playing by myself. I like to collect all the books, especially the skill books. And yeah, book covers really changes the way the books look, so they're not all generic. Very, very nice. Like, they're handcrafted, they're beautiful. Better Quest Objectives just helps with the immersion once again. It describes quests in a certain way that makes things a little bit nicer. You can kind of read it and it's like, oh, okay, that's what I have to do. It's a little less generic. This is part of Winter is Coming Cloaks. Cloaks of Skyrim and Winter is Coming are both really great mods that allow you to have cloaks on the characters. It's great if you're playing for immersion, you want more warmth in the cold, that kind of thing. These are just patches. Obsidian Weathers is my weather mod of choice, which really seems to work great in my playthrough so far. I'm very much enjoying the way the outdoors looks, the way the weather looks. Performance friendly for the most part, but definitely looks better than generic game. Mortal Enemies, if I recall, is a combat mod that allows enemies to not lock onto you as much whenever they're trying to swing their power attacks. Gives you a chance to kind of slip out of the way, keep fighting. Enemies having this melee auto aim when they've already committed to an attack is very immersion breaking, and makes the game harder. This kind of makes it more realistic, and I like it. This applies to you as well, so you can't really change your direction when you're playing the 2D version. I think the 3D version might handle it a little bit differently, but anyway. Pure Waters is a water retexture. It's the one I picked. There's a lot. Any water retexture is better than the vanilla water because it looks like crap. Another in the immersion category, Relationship Dialogue Overhaul. Essentially, this mod is going to allow more dialogue options with people you have a better relationship with. Always useful. Sounds of Skyrim Complete. This is another immersion mod for audio. Just kind of helps with the overall audio experience. I recommend it for sure. Beautiful Cities kind of enhances some of the cities, some of the main ones. I believe in Whiterun it adds some trees. If you look at my my setup, JK's Whiterun is by far my favorite Whiterun mod, but good luck running that in VR with my CPU because it's very CPU intensive. Adding all those extra meshes and extra models into the map of Skyrim, especially in the map of Whiterun where it's densely packed. Forget about it. So Beautiful Cities adds some nice little enhancements without going overboard and my computer crashing while I'm recording. Point the Way, another immersion thing. If you're not using the world map very often and you're just traveling the wilds, Point the Way is going to give you a really cool kind of update to some of the road signs. Enough said there. I mean, just helps you know, hey, there's Karth Waste in this way. Oh, Whiterun is this way. Cool, thanks. Holidays, this is just another great way to kind of make the world seem lived in. You'll find certain days of the year in canonical holidays in the Elder Scrolls calendar. You'll find people celebrating them in various ways. Really cool. Go to any city, you'll find them celebrating. Archery dummy experience. This is just for immersion once again. You have training dummies all over Skyrim. Why can't I attack them and gain a little bit of experience? This mod helps with that. I can fire my bow, use spells, attack with my sword or axe or whatever, and it's all good. It gives me limited experience compared to, like, say actually attacking an enemy, which is realistic, but it gives me something. Like, you figured if you can swing a sword and kind of practice with your bow enough, that is going to be usable experience in some ways, right? So it's immersive. Run for your lives. This has been around for ages. This is just going to help people run away when the town gets attacked by dragons and vampires, that kind of stuff. Very helpful. Excuse me, I have been sick for a little while now. One of the reasons why I'm probably not recording an actual episode until my throat gets better and I feel a little more up for it. But anyway, Inigo. What can I say about Inigo? He's an essential follower. You need to install Inigo. Find him on the Nexus. Get him now. You'll find him in the Riften jail. He's the best quest follower. He's the best follower hands down. I mean, there's a lot of other follower mods that compete with him, and they're all good too. I've tried a bunch. But Inigo is just the one I go back to all the time. I just have he's my buddy. I feel like we're bros in real life almost. It's pretty sad. But anyway, Dark Water Crossing. You'll find a few things here. You'll find a few mods. Sorry. You'll find a few mods that I have in my loadout here that are just the name of a city. They just kind of make the smaller towns a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger, a little more detail. Some of them feel like an afterthought. This kind of helps a little bit. This is Immersive Fallen Trees. Immersive Fallen Trees essentially just gives you more fallen trees to cross gaps like cliffs and rivers. Very useful if you want to avoid the water and not freeze to death in Frostfall. Immersive Patrols, very, very useful. I use Immersive Patrols just to have more people on the streets, more people on the roads. You want Immersive Patrols because you want the world more lived in, right? You're going to have more Civil War fights going on, more merchants crossing from town to town, that kind of stuff. Really great. Helps you find more things. Frostfall. This is going to be hand in hand with Campfire, one of the go-to immersion mods of all time for Skyrim. Basically means you can freeze to death out there, so dress warmly. I definitely recommend this one. This right here, this is just a map retexture for the world map, if I recall. Yeah, pretty straightforward. This archery mod here, I believe, is just an archery overhaul for better speed of the arrows, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure I installed the mod to make it so the you don't draw your bow as stupidly quick in VR. I think that's that one. Anyway, without the proper descriptions, it's kind of difficult. Better shaped weapons, pretty straightforward. Use that for your weapons to be a little bit more realistically shaped. Some of the weapons in Skyrim, the default textures and default models, are just awful. This helps. The fast travel speed multiplier basically makes it so when you fast travel places, it's more in line with if you were to actually go there by foot. It really helps if you're running an immersive playthrough. Helps with the time scales and whatnot, so you're not eating and drinking all the time or the same amount. Iverstead, Kynesgrove, Whistling Mine, Karthwasten, all these mods here are the same as what was found above. It just kind of makes these towns a little bit nicer. You'll find them on the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus. Yeah, definitely useful if you're looking to spend more time out in lesser known towns. Immersive weapons. Man, I've had a lot of fun with this, especially in VR. Getting a new weapon and being able to hold it in your hand and look at this thing, right? There's a lot of really cool, really detailed weapons that you can actually kind of get a hold of and feel in your hand, swing them around in front of your face, and it's really cool. Definitely recommend this one. Smilodon, it's a combat mod. It's not the go-to VR combat mod, but it's the one I'm currently using. So I find that it gave me the best performance. Some of the other ones I feel like they're kind of script heavy. This one really helped. This one's good. It works well with mortal enemies up above. Basically, it means anyone who's played Skyrim longer than 20 minutes knows that enemies seem to just dodge projectiles with a sixth sense. They don't even see you. They'll be hanging out, and you can shoot an arrow at them, fire a spell, and they'll just shimmy over to the side like there's a secondary game master just kind of grabbing the character and moving me aside, saying, no, you don't get that hit today. This kind of changes that. No stagger is basically something I use for VR. This is so my hands don't disappear mid-fight. I hate it. Getting stagger locked in combat is just not fun at all in VR because you can't move. You're not staggered yourself in real life unless you're really role-playing. So it's just not fun. So this kind of adds a bit more playability to Skyrim VR engine. I like it. Rich Merchants Skyrim. I use this with a ×2 multiplier. This mod just basically gives merchants more gold because I'm currently I'm always doing alchemy. I'm always doing things that I'm collecting lots of high value stuff, and I pick up an item and it's worth 1,000 gold, and merchants only ever have 5, maybe 700. This gives merchants a little bit more gold to play with. Simply stronger dragons. If you've played Skyrim at all in the last couple of years, you'll know dragons eventually get really boring. A troll or a saber cat can have a higher difficulty rating than dragons half the time, especially once they get the dragon wrens shout. This helps them be a little bit more powerful. I'm currently not fighting dragons in my playthrough because I'm not the Dragonborn. I'm doing something completely different in a different role play, but I like to keep this in here just in case I decide to do something different, because as we all know, those who play Skyrim, we always have multiple characters on the go, or at least I do. Sounds of Skyrim Obsidian Patch, I think that's what that is. Yeah. Uniques. Less useful with immersive weapons, but I think it adds some things still. Basically makes unique weapons more unique. In my last episode that I put up, the Pale Blade was added by Uniques. It looks really good. I think Uniques was actually... it shares a lot of assets with immersive weapons, so something to keep in mind. And then one of my favorite mods, Unread Books Glow. Oh my goodness, Unread Books Glow. I'm a completionist. I like to collect all the books, all the skill books and journals and whatnot. This means if this mod installed, if I see a glowing book, I haven't read it before, so I gotta pick it up. This kind of reminds me to just keep hunting and keep my inventory empty. And this is just a immersive weapons patch. Animalica. I really enjoy this mod. This really adds a lot of variety to the animals in Skyrim. There's lots of cool new creatures you can stumble upon, beavers and woolly rhinos and all sorts of crazy stuff. I like this one if you're a bit of a nature freak. You like to go out in the woods and just kind of see all the creatures out there. There's a lot of cool stuff out there you can find with Animalica. I really, really like it. Now, if you're running on a higher end computer, or you have a solid state drive, that kind of thing, you won't spend much time in loading screens, even in VR. But the lore-based loading screens just gives you a little bit more extra to read, a little more things that are based on the lore, and you learn some things about the vast, expansive universe of the Elder Scrolls. So this is a must-have for me. This is great for you immersion junkies as well. Expanded carriage service. Now, expanded carriage service essentially just gives you more carriages. Some towns don't have them, and that's really weird that they don't. So now you can hire a carriage pretty much anywhere. Really helpful to kind of get around if you're freezing to death, or just don't want to have to trudge all the way out to that city again, and fast travel is not within your means due to other mods or immersion or that kind of thing. Hold border banners adds a nice touch. Makes the world feel more lived in. There's some border banners, basically letting you know you're crossing into a new hold. Gilded Green Regrown. This is just because I love Whiterun. It's one of my favorite cities. And when I finish the Gilded Green mission, which I always do, I like to make the city pretty. I like to have a new Gilded Green tree. It look nice. Next, we have Andromeda, Unique Standing Stones of Skyrim. This is the mod that's pretty much center stage in my current playthrough of Skyrim VR for my Let's Play. Changes the mods. Changes the standing stones. My goodness. Makes the standing stones more unique, as you've already been seeing. I'm almost done finding all the standing stones in my current playthrough, so that's fun. But anyway, Unique Standing Stones of Skyrim, Andromeda, definitely pick that up. Race menu. I need that to... I need all this actually. Finis XPMSE for I need that for my first person body mod in VR. Useful if you have any animation mod installed at all. Animation mods are less useful in VR because you kind of have your own, but then it's cool to see other characters kind of use better animations, so it makes the world feel a little better. Ordinator. This is a must-have mod. My goodness. I mean, it's compatible with almost everything. It adds way more perks. It changes a lot of the vanilla perks. It makes Skyrim great again. It really adds much better perks, much more balance, much more replayability, and like new builds open up because of it. like the alteration skill tree alone is so huge. There's so much to do. It really changes the way you think about magic. I definitely recommend Ordinator. It opens up so many more playthroughs, makes Skyrim feel like a whole different game. Apocalypse. What can I say about Apocalypse? It's the best overhaul magic mod. Adds a lot of really cool new spells that I really can't see a playthrough without. I do use a lot of vanilla spells in my playthroughs still, but this adds a lot of really cool utility spells, lots of new summons. There's a lot of cool stuff. This is required for VR, for Ordinator. In VR, you need a separate patch. You need a perk extender patch in order to be able to run Ordinator. You'll probably find it somewhere in a modding guide. The Skyrim VR subreddit is where I recommend you go for most of this stuff. Okay, guys? Go to Reddit, go to the Skyrim VR page. The people there are far more knowledgeable than I am, and they know what they're doing. They have better systems, better specs, and they do some really crazy stuff with the game. Definitely go there and kind of look at some of the guides, but otherwise the VR patch is necessary to run Ordinator. This one specifically, I think, requires SKSE, which is also what I need to run a bunch of things. You need it for Mage VR, you need it for my VR body mod, inverse kinematics is what it's called, all that stuff. And then the modern brawl bug fix, I think, is required for a bunch of things, but also it just helps if you're in a brawl with somebody, which I was in one of my episodes. It doesn't make it so you're instantly hostile and you're committing a crime. Yeah, so there we go. There's my current mod list. I mean, after all that, I'm sure you're glad that I'm not running a 300 plus mod list at this point. We'd be here all day. But what I want to show you now is we're going to jump into real life for a moment, and I'm going to show you my current setup outside my computer, what my sensors look like, what I've done to do that, and then we'll close it up. Hey everybody, this is my current desk setup here in my basement for VR. You'll notice my 2 monitor setup here, my desktop that's been stickered to all hell. But I got my Oculus Rift Plus Touch over here. They're hanging up on the wall for easy access. I can grab them whenever I need to, pop them on and start using it. Normally my chair will sit here within my play space. Usually it's a little bit bigger, but I have all this kind of clutter here. Anyway, kids are messy, what can you do? But when they're not down here, this is my domain to play VR. And where are my VR sensors, you ask? This desk is not very big and it does not have any sensors on it. So I have an Oculus Rift, which requires some sensors. There's some upsides and some downsides to that. The sensors give me some really great tracking. If my hands are behind me, I can do some really cool stuff. But my sensors are actually up here. With a quick purchase of some security camera mounts and USB extension cables, maybe some of these little guys here, these little dudes to keep the wires in place. I mean, you're in what, maybe 30, 40, 50 bucks tops for all the extra accessories, if you know where to buy them. And you've got yourself a really great setup, provided the time and whatnot to put it all together. Having the sensors looking down on you is really beneficial. Really makes things easier, gets them out of your way, allows for better tracking. I definitely recommend it. Yeah, that's my setup. Hope you learned something there, and yeah, thanks for stopping by. So thanks a lot for coming out. I've been meaning to showcase my VR setup for quite some time now. I'm really glad that I was able to finally get around to doing it. I'm not sure when the next episode of my VR Let's Play will be, but for now, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a thing or two about my setup and how everything works. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me, comment in the video. I always watch that kind of stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.